Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom, and today it is the season finale of the 1,000-Pound Roomies. It's called The Wait Is Over, and season 1, episode 6. I'm really surprised it didn't go through like the rest of the summer, or at least through the end of July, but it didn't. 6 episodes, so I'm not sure. To me, it didn't get left on the cliffhanger. Let me know what you think. I think they gave away a lot of information at the end of the season, but who knows? Maybe they'll be back with more of their journey next season, or if TLC picks them up, and I hope that they do. So if you are new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. I will be following up with the 1,000-Pound Roomies on their social media to see what they're up to going forward as well. Please consider, like I said, subscribing to the channel if you are new. If you aren't new, you've been here for a while, thank you so much. Everyone hit that like button, whether you're on live or on the replay. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining. And hello, Miss Tamika. How you doing, girl? So I'm already going to drop the link for everybody. If you want to join the panel live, you can, to talk about the season finale. And if you're too shy or just don't want to, leave me your comments in the comment section. I have read some comments from some new viewers there, and I do answer all the comments. So you leave it there, I see it, try to answer within 24, sometimes 48 hours if there's, depends on the comment that's on the comment section. So, all right, I dropped the link if you want to join. If not, that's okay, follow along. So we have the 1,000-Pound Roomies. They're back with their season finale after 6 episodes. Like I said, I enjoyed watching the ladies and their journeys that they both went on together and individually. And I do hope TLC brings them back, because you know what? It's a fresh look to the TLC lineup. Because just like if you watch TLC or just different channels, it seems like they keep showing the same things over and over and over again. And sometimes that gets stale. So when you throw in something, you know, I know TLC has thrown in a different show called The Virgins or something. I'm personally not interested in that, but other people are. But they need to throw in things that's going to, you know, spark their viewership or whatever. Just get people watching newer shows. Because like I said, other shows that's been on there for a long time are stale, you know. So to me, I know this show is not on the TLC network, but like the Teen Mom franchise, they're like mid-30s now. What is there to know? You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I'm saying, like bring in fresh things going forward. And so the episode picks back up with Jazz going to the weight loss doctor to see she made the weight of 500 pounds to get that weight loss surgery. Now Jazz weighed in at 500 pounds, I think 530 pounds, and admitted she's been off the shot, so she's been messing up for a little bit. But Jazz did lose over 100 pounds, and the doctor said she would approve the surgery, which I'm glad that she did, because Jazz had lost between that period of time over 100 pounds. So, I mean, she was on the right track versus the other show, which is not sponsored by My 600-Pound Life, where in 6 months, where Jazz lost 100, in 6 months, the other people will have lost like 2, 15, 20 pounds, you know what I'm saying? And they're on the season for a whole year, and some people never make the weight. So, all right. Are you ready backstage? I can bring you up. All right. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay today. Doing okay. Did you get a chance to watch?
I did.
Okay. And so what do you think about, first of all, I said it for the beginning with this doctor. Her RBF face to me is a turnoff. And to me, she low key, for lack of a better word, kind of like, you know, when she's side eyeing, it gives like
all the time
disgust, like ew. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's not like very helpful for people who are medically obese. And you look at them like, you know, why didn't you lose this weight, or why didn't you do that? I'm like, they need another doctor.
Yeah, her bedside manner is way off.
Exactly. So when Jazz gets to the clinic and the doctor does approve the surgery, which I was glad, then it turns the conversation over to Nesha if she wants to be weighed. And I'm like, I just don't like that when they do that. If she wanted to be weighed, like the first time when it was asked of her, she would do it, right? Her mind is not there. But she decided that she would go ahead and get weighed because when she got weighed the first time when Jazz met up with Dr. Nori, she said she was like 430 pounds. Well, this time she's down to 408. And she was like, I could take off my shirt, my shoes, and this and that. That doctor looked at her like,
that ain't gonna matter.
Right, girl, please. But for me,
that don't matter.
Right, for me, for my medical situation, I get weighed once a month. So I know what it is. I know when I'm feeling bloated. Matter of fact, as of yesterday, I knew I had some water weight yesterday, and it was like only 4 pounds up. But you can tell. But I don't eat the way they eat, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
I just was like, and if my medical assistant or even my doctor looked at me like that, I'd have a problem because that's not cool.
Problem.
Because it's making me feel like I'm like bothering you, or like you don't want to see someone who would look like me if I weighed that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm helping you. Like, what? I don't know. So I really didn't like to say that, but it's true. She just gave that whole thing. And to me, it's not like the lady was like maybe shy or reserved to be on camera, because then she didn't have to participate. But it was just her, like you said, the bedside manner.
Yeah. She was rude.
Not a good look. Not a good look. So, anyways, Dr. Nori said to Nesha, well, do you know what your weight should be? And I will say, I'm going to give the doctor a little crumb on this, because Nesha said, well, I don't want to be 100 pounds because, those charts are made for, and first of all, those charts
are not for us.
Right. Not for us. And they came out like in the 30s, 40s, 50s for someone else's ideology. Should be, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is different. People truly are big boned, or some people are naturally thin because their metabolism or whatever. And so Dr. Nori is like, well, you should be between 165 and 170. I was like, I've never heard a doctor say that to any female.
Right. And for her height, because I wonder how tall she is. Because she don't look that tall.
She looked like she could be between like 5'5" and 5'7". She's not as tall as Jazz, but I still never heard any doctor at any time, talk about 165, 170. It's usually like between like 115,
130.
I was like, that's very generous.
Yeah, very generous.
So anyway, she looks at her and said, well, people your size don't, usually make it to age 60 to 70. And that might be true for some, but again, what you read in the book, because I had to say that years ago, what you read in the book don't pertain to me. Okay,
right?
That was a suggestion. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Who has a final say? But I mean, there's heavy people outside. They don't look like they spring chickens, but they're heavy.
Exactly.
So,
I know people that are 400-500 pounds, and they're in their 50s.
See, it just depends. Those books are suggestions. It's not made for everybody. I wasn't part of in general wasn't part of the case study 50 years ago, 60 when they did this.
Exactly.
So
yeah, they need to change that up.
So, anyways, I thought it was kind of cute when they went to confessional. There was a lot of confessionals on this season finale, but this particular confessional, they're talking about Jazz and Nesha were talking about she eats the same things that Jazz eats, and she's on the same journey. I'm like, you may prepare the food,
right? But you ain't eating it.
But you're not eating
it. No, she eating it times 4, 5.
Yeah, because we've seen you at way too many food trucks and way too many restaurants with your friend Bree eating in excess.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Jazz was like, so what, you ate a salad? Jazz didn't have to be like that, but Jazz, she can't help herself when it comes to shots too. You know what I'm saying? So in another confessional, Nesha does say she needs to get serious about losing weight. but she said it through the whole season. Her mental's there, and it's really true. If your mental in any situation, whether it be weight loss, depression, job, whatever it is for you, relationships, if your heart, your mind, and your soul don't match, you're not going to make the move until they all line up.
Absolutely.
And you can suggest and encourage people, but until they have that light bulb turn on, it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, for the majority, the light bulb doesn't turn on until
it's too late.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Anyway, she says she needs to get to the reasons of why she's not losing weight, but I do think she touched on that more this episode, because I think we can kind of figure it out as to what it is that's holding her back. Right? All right. So after the appointment, Nesha's at her mom's house, and the conversations, it's always like small talk, which is fine. Mom asks how Jazz's surgery is. It's coming up in 2 days. And then we see Nesha throw a party for Jazz, and she's cooking all the food. She looked like those Red Lobster, which is not sponsored.
Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Smothered chicken, and macaroni and cheese. And
it look good.
Jazz can't eat none of that. She's on a liquid diet.
Right.
To get the last 30 pounds off. And let me say this too. I'm jumping ahead just a little bit. But if you in general have ever had to fast for any type of test, any type of,
you better fast.
They will ask you, if you got to sign something sometimes, because of what it is, if it's major, you can have nothing to eat. Sometimes I've got like a full 12 hours a few times, and that's when you be like, oh, that's when your stomach get to growling. Any other time you go all day without eating, but when someone tell you can't eat, you be like,
oh, now you're starving.
You feel like you're on one of them commercials. Right?
Yes.
Have you been there?
I have had one surgery and a procedure done. And then, so the last procedure I just had done was in December, and they were like, don't eat, it was like the Gremlins, don't eat after midnight. And when I tell you, my mouth was so dry. And so they did tell me that I can have like ice chips, know, and then if I have to take medication, then I can, drink something. But they were like, no, don't drink, don't eat. And now I see why, because you can really mess some stuff up. But I couldn't believe she did. It's like, girl.
Right. Well, for me, if you've been around on this channel a while, where I'm going. In fact, I had treatment yesterday, so I am just a little tired, but I feel good though. But I have a procedure with a particular scan, a full body scan that looks at a specific area every 3 months, like clockwork, right? To make sure I'm still in remission, all that stuff too, which I am. Thank you, Lord. But I always ask for my appointment the first thing in the morning, because at least nighttime, you know what I'm saying? Like I can whatever. So like for 8 a.m., get me in so I can get some water and some crackers and stuff, because you just you just feel like you're on a commercial at one of them starving kids. Now, I'm not even trying to be funny. It's a psychological thing. But I noticed at the party at the mom's house, Nesha's mom's house, is her grandmother was there, yes. Was her grandfather there too? But the majority of the people were Nesha's.
Yeah, they were all there. Yeah. All Nesha's people.
Yeah. So real quick. Hello, favorite T. You say, hey, chat, I'm mad at Nesha making that meal for Jazz for surgery and then laughing about it later. Absolutely. I was getting to that in just a second. Absolutely. Hold on a second. I'm getting to it. And then thank God Jazz didn't have any complications. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have it written down right here. So Nesha's talking about, also in another confession, like I said, there were several. She's like, well, you can have something blended if you don't want to put no chicken broth in your water bottle. And so, a blended taco or something. Jess like, no. But then when they get to the nitty gritty of everything, Jess is laughing like, I'm not going to be no snitch. You shouldn't even have.
You shouldn't even did that.
spoon, right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
night, everybody, including you or whoever was in the house, should have had something
Mm-hmm.
liquid. Period in the story. So there'd be
You
no
know, she shouldn't even had that party. Let's just
right,
do that. You shouldn't have done it. Okay, you want to get everybody over. That's okay, but not to cook to the magnitude that you just cooked.
right,
It's just
yeah,
so, as the children say, diabolical.
diabolical. To make let me do some more like little new people stuff. To have Jazz crash out, she's already crashed out. She's already the whole season. She's already been anxious, nervous,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. And then like, that's not cool because I'm sure there was a list of everything that she couldn't do, which is why she was on a liquid diet up until the day of surgery. So blending
Mm-hmm.
something that wasn't water based
Exactly.
wasn't cool at all. And
At all.
lucky she was still able to go through to have the surgery. Because I remember when I was first diagnosed 4.5 years ago, and the scan I'm telling you about, I didn't see on there. Well, I did. I thought it said 2 hours before, when it was really 5 hours. I don't know what I was reading, have on my readers.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in there like, oh, when's the last time you had something to eat? I was like, let's say it was a late appointment. Let's say 1:00. I said, oh, it's like 11. They made me sit there another 2 hours until my stomach digested. They refused
Oh, wow.
to do it because, again, it could be complications. And so I get it now. So now that's why I asked for early morning appointment. So I don't have no nothing like that going on. Just in case
Mm-hmm.
you forget. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so let's go back to Nesha's party. And I'm really surprised that we didn't see Nesha's mother. She wasn't there. Saw the grandmother.
No.
The mother wasn't there. So I'm just curious to know, because remember, grandma just came on board with the surgery at
Right.
the last minute. And mom was like, even though she said she was, be like, I'll help you out, she didn't really seem like she wanted to. I mean, mom could have had a job. Mom could have had other things going on. But I just always find it interesting that Nesha, people are around Jazz more than Jazz's. Where's Jazz's friends? Like her friends didn't come, or Nesha's friends, Jazz's friends. Like I found that very interesting. And especially the young lady who lost the weight naturally.
That gave her the information. Yeah, you would think that they were going to be there.
Mm-hmm. So that was very, very interesting. All right. So during the party, Nesha and her mom go back to talk about the cult. And to me, I'm like, this is not the right time. Like, you're either having a party or you can talk about the cult.
Mm-hmm.
But not at the same time, because to me, there was a lot of distractions. You know what I'm saying? And so Nesha tells her mother that she wants to confront the pastor. I was like, whoa. If they would even let you in, because, once you out, you out. At least
that's what Right.
Was he eating? I'm sure he was eating. The pastors, the preachers, you don't have to be in a cult. They usually have the nicer lifestyles and nicer cars, nicer houses. Like, I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if someone told you that, you'd be like, huh, okay. So we got to starve because you don't want us to listen to somebody else, but we hear it. That didn't go together for me.
Right. I know there is a religion out there that I won't name, but if you leave the religion, even if your family is in it, your family is forbidden to speak to you. There's
Wow.
certain things that you can and cannot do. And and I know this personally because I know somebody that left that religion.
Okay.
And it's not a cult. I will never say it's a cult, but it is a religion. And she left that religion, and her family did not talk to her for years because they were still in the religion. And she got out of it because she didn't want to practice that no more. She wanted to become, more in the Christian lifestyle. But yeah. And so, there's some stuff that they do, they don't do. But yeah, it's interesting. Even like when I was in college and I studied it, I was just like, because I wanted to know, why do they do the things they do? Because I don't want to be offensive to anyone. And so when I found out, I was like, wow, isn't this something? I'll text it to you what it is.
Okay. Well, we're calling it a cult because Nesha's called it a cult. She didn't call it a religion. She called it a cult. So
yeah, I know that one definitely.
Liberty said, I know that religion. I dated someone in that, and he told me his family would disown him. And also said if he married someone outside the faith. Wow.
Sure can.
I'm sure there's lots of things that we may know and we don't know. This one I don't know, but anyway, so let me get back to so when Nesha told her mom that her mother was like, you need to heal, things like that, right? And so, Nesha said when she came out of the cult, she was like, overwhelmed by the things that she learned because she was in the cult from infancy to 22 years old, just like her eyes was open to like what was happening on the outside world. And that really messed her up. And so Nesha's mom says, well, I mean, do you think the preacher will listen to you? And I'm like, I wouldn't even waste, if I was Nesha, I know she wouldn't even waste my time. Like, so you probably can't even get in anyways, so, oh, okay. I got it. Anyways,
yeah, she don't even need to waste her time with that because they, when they're like that in the cult, they're going to look at you like you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm the Messiah, and you don't know, and you're going to go to the pits of hell. So
yeah, you're right. So Nesha thinks her mom doesn't listen to her. She'd like to brush stuff under the rug, and Nesha reiterated to her mom too. When I left the cult, you still stayed in, and we didn't talk for years until you left the cult, and that really I'm your only daughter, and apparently she has a brother. Now, last week I thought they gave the illusion that there was more than one child because I was like, I wonder how many siblings she has. But Nesha's mom said, she's here for her in every way, and they hugged it out, but Nesha kind of like gave her a little roll to the eyes. But one thing I didn't say before that, when they went to talk, her mom thought she was going to talk to her about like the losing weight journey too, and Nesha wasn't there for that. Nesha's tired of hearing about that. Like I said, she's ready to. She will if she wants to.
Right. Wait a minute. Did she say I'm your only daughter or your only child?
I'm your only girl.
Okay, so she might have a brother.
She has a brother. Yeah. Okay. So now is Jazz's surgery day. She talks with her daughter Nana and Nesha to reassure her. Well, to reassure them, but to be honest, I think she's reassuring herself. Again, I don't think Nana lives with her mother all the time. It's a given. Sometimes, some kids don't film because there's an age to that. But Nana, no, she don't live there. There's no way she lives there. Jazz is nervous, which is understandable. Nana's not. I don't think Nana really understands the full idea of what's going on with her mom. Nesha says she's proud of Jazz. Jazz's granny and her pops come to support her, and they reassure her as well when they all get to the hospital. There's another gentleman that's there. They blurred his face out, so maybe that's an uncle or somebody who don't want to be on camera. And my thing is, or maybe, I don't know if he was with them or not, but he was sitting next to the grandfather, so I'm going to assume with all the empty spaces, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would a stranger sit right there? You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if he was with the family, you don't want to be filmed, don't come. That's all I or come and sit somewhere else until we're done filming or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, Jazz's grandma came with the motorhome camper. She was like, "Well, if I known, I would have brought the bigger camper." I mean, okay, a camper is a camper, Anyways, so Jazz goes through with the surgery. Before the surgery, that's when it was explained that she ate the food in advance, and the doctor was upset. And like I said, she's lucky she even had the surgery that day. You know what I'm saying? Because it could have been put off a week.
Yeah.
Anyways, so when Jazz is back in the pre-op room, that's when she admits all that stuff. Like I said, they have the surgery. And then she's rolled to the surgery before she's got to use the bedpan. And the OR tech back there, the guy, he was real happy to be on camera, wasn't he? He was all into it. Like, hey, we rolling. Yeah, I said, you know what?
Right.
Show.
Listen, he's trying to get his little 15 minutes.
He was cute, though. I give him that. Anyways, the family sitting back there. The grandma, we learned the grandma and grandpa is going to take care of Nana while Jazz is in surgery and recovery. And then again, it's like, where's Nana's dad? Where's her dad? How come she can't be with her other side of the family during this time? This is,
Mm-hmm.
the time to have an extended visitation, in my opinion. But
right.
Depends on the relationship over there. So Jazz had the surgery, successful. The doctor comes out and says, everything is all good. Then they bring them back. And then my thing is, like, they always want your family to talk to you when you're trying to wake up. I've had that happen to me before too. I'm like, who are these people? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know where you are, for a hot second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that the surgery came through. And so then we see Nesha after that scene, and their scenes are always like broken up. They're never like a consistent episode, if you notice that. It's always like broken up in pieces. So then we see Nesha after the recovery room go to see her friend at her braiding salon, Mimi, to get her hair braided. Now, Mimi was also in the cult. So if you think about that, Mimi was in a cult, her mother was in a cult, Joel was in a cult. So she still hangs out with people that left the cult. I get it. That's all you happen to know at a particular age. But to me, and it seems like Mimi's a good friend to her. But if you really want to heal,
you got to get away from it.
You got to get away from all that.
Yeah.
For a certain period of time, to me, because every time you see these people,
they're going to bring it up.
Right, including your mother, your family, they're going to bring it up to you, and you just can't get past it the way she needs to get past it.
Exactly.
When she described that, the cult was in Long Beach, the other friend sitting down was like, I never heard of that. That falls under the funky Dineva is like this and not like this kind of thing, going type thing. So, the friend is encouraging to her to speak to whoever she needs to speak to and get the mental challenges going. But again, just like we discussed, for me and for you, you just have to leave those people alone. So, all right, next confessional. Jazz is at home after 2 days recovery. She said her stomach is about the size of a banana, and she's still supposed to take her supplements and her protein. And then there's a note from production. I'm like, oh no! When the screen goes
not
black,
a note.
It happened, right?
Yeah.
So it says Jazz has been readmitted back to the hospital because she fell at home and Nesha couldn't, assist her. Well, I mean, hello. If they fail, they really can't assist each other. Not even trying to be nasty about it. So then Jazz called Nesha on FaceTime, and of course she's upset. She's crying, and she talked about she can't feel the grip in her hands. But I noticed that too. I think I said last episode, she's always like messing with her hand. So that was probably already something that was already occurring. She just didn't understand why. So then production puts up another note. I was like, not another note. Apparently, Jazz has muscle atrophy, and she will need physical therapy and be mobile before she could be released. Now, I did have the information about muscle atrophy. I just forgot to download it on here. But basically, it occurs when it's lack of protein in your body.
That they told her to eat.
Like they told her to eat, and she hadn't been doing. So that enchilada and that taco weren't enough protein because you've been not doing what you was doing for the other 5.5 months.
Exactly.
And finally caught up to you, along with the other medical underlying issues that, you
Mm-hmm.
probably hadn't even come out yet,
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, Jazz ends up staying in the hospital additional 3 weeks, and now she's on oxygen. She's just upset, and she should be, for good reason, because now, it's not just about the weight loss, about other things she needs to get taken care of. So
Exactly.
then we see her take physical therapy and different things like that to try to get going and mobile, I guess. But I don't think she's mobile like that, because she did say that she wasn't able to fully walk, which she wasn't the first time. So I wonder what they meant by mobile, because she was always mobile from the waist up. So I wonder what they're talking about with that. They didn't really say. Let's see. I already talked about Nesha and her mom. I put that in the first part of it. But again, Nesha needs to, like we said, get away from the people that she's been around, so she can get her
She need to
stuff
get her some therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then in the next confessional, Jazz and Nesha are talking to each other about, helping each other, loving each other, make sure they have each other's back. I agree with that. Jazz did try to bottom line it for Nesha, was like, don't let my health challenges keep you from doing what you need to do. And I thought that was a good point, and at the right moment, because it's not just about the surgery. It's not just about the episodes we did see with her not wanting to do activities, but you saw her fall. She probably passed out again, blacked out again, because lack of protein, surgery, and your stomach is your body's going haywire because things happen to it, right? And so I thought that was a good moment to bring it up. And in another confessional, Nesha was like, "Yeah, maybe I should." And you should. You don't have to do the surgery part. You can just start really do what you need to do for you and your body, what you're comfortable with. So, but why did Jazz, though, still with her hospital gown on? I'm like, how long she been there? Because you don't film me with my hospital gown on.
She could have bought in her own little nightgown or pajamas.
Even I have a muumuu. Got it from Ross. They got a few cute ones. You just wear it around the house, whatever. But you're not wearing a hospital gown. You know what I'm saying? Not on national TV.
Exactly.
Anyway, so Jazz was like, "Ooh, since I lost this weight, I'm trying to twerk." I'm like, "This is the last thing you need to be thinking of. Like all them stitches and everything inside your body. I'm not trying to move nothing. You know what I'm saying? If any time it was for her to lay down,
that was the time.
This is the time. Not trying to twerk." And I thought it was funny when Nesha was like, "You don't got to do all that. Your booty move all by yourself. You don't need you. You don't need you." All right. Finally, at the end of the episode, Nesha said, like I said, she's going to take her health into consideration. We learned that Jazz has lost a total of 168 pounds. That's up during and after surgery, which is awesome. So she's under 5. I think she said that she weighs 462 now. So she weighs 462. She started at over 600.
That's really good.
Right. She's only 55-ish pounds from Nesha. So Nesha, hello.
Yeah, she's gonna pass her up.
Pass her. So it also said that Nesha has a appointment with Dr. Nori in 6 months. I said, "Girl, go see somebody else. Go see somebody else." Yeah, go see somebody else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now they're both determined to, for new beginnings in their relationship together as friends, and then going forward. But wait, you think the show's over? Because Nisha's been on these dating sites, right? So production was like, "So, how things have been going? How's your dating life going?" She was like, "I'm still seeing Joe." I said, "What?"
Like, girl, why? Why?
Look, and he just came over the night before. If you
she don't want to change.
Right. If you don't take your behind to an adult store and do what you need to do, okay. Because Joel
needs to get
you want him
body by candy, whatever it's called, candy coated nights.
Right. Well, because Joel is only doing what you allow him to do. Like,
Yep.
So
That's
again,
it.
if your mind, your body, your heart, and soul aren't aligned up, you're not changing. And with Nesha, when the show started, she was 37, had a birthday on the show, 38. Too old. Because she keeps
And
talking
you know
about
better.
right. She knows better. Wants to get away from this and that and this and that. But yeah, you keep doing the same old thing. You keep walking the same circle. So you're going to keep getting the same results. So it's hard to feel empathy for somebody who keep doing the same thing that's grown.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
anyways, well,
yeah. I wish they would have like 2 months from now or something to see like her progress, So hopefully I don't know when they will pick it back up, but hopefully they will. And then they'll see that, she's lost the weight, but then she gonna have all that skin. She gonna remind me of Amy from 500 pounds. Yeah. Or my 600-pound life. But yeah, so she's gonna have to get, to remove all that skin, because that skin is gonna be another 40, 50 pounds on her.
Right. And then after you talk about Jazz or Nesha or both?
Jazz.
But after she gets
Jazz.
Has surgery. But after she gets the surgery done, like she needs help with her knee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the weight is not going to help. It may take away some of the pain, but if she's already arthritic and more than likely bone on bone, and
she might have to have a knee replacement.
Yes, that's another 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So she got a long way to go.
She got a long way to go.
Right. And like I said, no telling what else. Because when you go through stuff like that, they find all kind of stuff on your blood count, everything else that you didn't know about. That's anybody. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, she got a long road ahead of her. But when they were sitting at the confessional at the very end, it looked like Nesha, they have different outfits on. Looked like she lost a pound or two. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I was wishful thinking. I don't know. But Jazz also, I forgot to mention this too. She had the doctor mentioned she needs more mental health counseling going forward.
She does. Yeah.
She definitely does. They both do.
Yeah.
But she definitely does. Well, they both have PTSD, but yeah, Jazz is a little bit more, she said, depressed about hers versus Nesha, to me, is like a functioning depression person. Right. Jazz isn't, so. But yeah, I hope they pick them up so we can see where they are now, their progress, anything like that. And like I said, something newer and fresher on any network. Just put something on that's, something new to see. Yeah.
Something. Because what they got now is, that's all you can do. It's just stale. Yeah, what they got now is like, okay.
Stale. It's stale on most networks.
It is very stale.
So, anyways, well, like I said, that was the season finale. I appreciate you joining. I appreciate everybody watching, whether live or on the replay. I get a lot of replay, and I appreciate that too. So, be back with 90 Day Fiance on Monday.
All righty. I'm going to inbox you about that too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining. Have a good evening. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Take care.